Well, folks, they finally did it. Israel has invaded southern Lebanon for the first time in 18 years. This is a big step, to say the least. I don't know how extensive Israel's invasion of Lebanon will be. I don't know if this is going to be a full-scale occupation such as existed from 1982 to 2000. I don't know if I don't think that Israel wants to get into the business of nation building in Lebanon. But at the very least, it seems clear. I mean, the United States is even confirming this, that Israeli soldiers are marching across the border, and they are conducting operations, so to speak, in southern Lebanon. Now, honestly, I have to ask myself, what do they seek to gain here? What can Israel gain by invading yet again when this has just not gone in their favor in the past? What's different this time? Assuming that Netanyahu is, not just going to try the same thing that has already been tried in the past, assuming that they have a new plan, what has changed? Are they going to just try and depopulate these areas? I haven't seen any reports of that yet. I haven't heard much talk about that. I don't think that, it's not like with Gaza where they, where Israel, we kind of knew from the beginning, it's like, oh yeah, Israel's just going to drive all the people of Gaza into the sea or into Egypt or something like that. Here, that's not clear. I mean, I've tried to listen to what Israeli politicians have been saying about Lebanon, what their goals would be. I've heard them say things like, Lebanon's not a country. It has no territorial integrity. That's kind of just saying, hey, we have the right to invade if we want. That doesn't really say what the goals of their invasion would be. Now, I would think, at the very least, maybe they're trying to create some kind of a buffer. But, as it happens, southern Lebanon, where that buffer would be created, is the region of Lebanon that is really hostile to Israel. But that probably has a lot to do with the fact that this is the region where Israel was occupying the country, for a couple decades. I don't know if southern Lebanon was particularly anti-Israel before they invaded back in 82. I wasn't alive back then. I don't know Lebanese people who were alive back then. I don't think I know even any Lebanese people who are alive today, now that I think about it. And so anyway, that's one potential goal, trying to create some sort of a buffer zone, demilitarized zone perhaps, where Israel does not allow a buildup of military arms pointed at their northern regions. And so southern Lebanon could become a sort of a new Gaza, a place where, the people there are not Israelis, but they are subject to Israeli rule, and they are kept disarmed because, as we know, Israel has been dealing with what do you call these rockets? I mean, they're not really small arms, but they're not, they're not weapons of mass destruction. What's the correct term for those? Do they call them intermediate arms? I'm not sure. I was never in the military, in case you folks haven't noticed. But anyway, that's that is a legitimate concern if you were Israel. Leaving aside historical context, what have you, justifications, whatever you want to call them. It is a problem if you are a country and there are people shooting rockets at your towns and your cities from the next country over. Israel has a legitimate interest in stopping that, and by that logic, I think an invasion is justifiable. Though, wait for it. That doesn't mean I support it, because I don't think that Israel is going to. I don't think that this will end well for anyone. I don't think it's going to end well for Israel. I don't think it's going to end well for Lebanon, certainly. But I mean, the same is true with the initial, invasion of Gaza. I mean, we all knew that was going to end in disaster, because that's just kind of the way Israel rolls. But invading Gaza itself after the initial attack was not unjustified. It's not like it was an unjust war. The way they went about it, completely leveling Gaza and driving all of the people into camps, and then now just trying to ethnically cleanse them entirely. All that stuff is what's unjustified. But so far, Israel has not done that yet in southern Lebanon, and they might not. They might not go as far as what they've done in Gaza, although I would think that there is a substantial risk of them doing that, considering what we've witnessed over the past year. So it's sad to see this, but I don't know how you would prevent it. Nasrallah, he really, he in hindsight, he picked his hill to die on, quite literally, and he decided, what, I'm going to stand with Gaza, and I'm going to fight against Israel, just as they're trying to defend themselves or fight Israel, however you want to look at it. And so now that Gaza has been thoroughly vanquished, Israel has turned their attention north. Israel had been fighting a two-front war, and now it's effectively a single front. Gaza is vanquished. And so I don't know what will happen now. I don't know what the long-term ramifications will be, but again, I just, we see this over and over again, and it's always the same result. There's always greater hatreds. There's always more death and destruction. And for every one, Islamic terrorist you kill, you create 10 more. I think it was McChrystal who called it insurgent math, because that's just the nature of it. There is so much so-called collateral damage in fighting these people that even if the people who you're targeting, the individuals you're targeting, even if they are 100% guilty, terrible people who deserve death, you're going to end up killing a bunch of innocent people in the process. And those innocent people will have families who will remember, who will never forget, and who will be willing to fight and die for revenge, just as the Israelis are fighting now. They're angry at the lives that they've lost, at the Israelis who have been killed or injured, wounded, maimed by the Hezbollah rocket attacks. But in the process, they will end up killing, in all likelihood, far more people in Lebanon than Hezbollah has killed, over the past year in northern Israel. So anyway, with that said, I will see you folks back here in the next one.